Since 2004, Iowa livestock farmers have turned to the Coalition to Support Iowa's Farmers for free, confidential, and expert assistance in raising livestock responsibly and successfully. Join us at the Fenceline to hear from industry experts and farmers about topics important to livestock agriculture here in Iowa. The Fenceline, where the gates always open.
Welcome to the Fenceline. My name is Bob Quinn, and the Fenceline is a presentation of the Coalition to Support Iowa's Farmers. You can find out more about the programs available through the Coalition at their website, supportfarmers.com. Today, we are talking with a dairy family. Recent Working Good Farm Neighbor Award winners, Jeremy and Sara Ebaugh, along with their three sons, John, Joe, and Jeb, operate Ebaugh Dairy, fourth-generation farm, home to Holstein dairy cows, cow-calf herd, and chickens as well. Out of the 200 Working Good Farm Neighbor Awards presented, this was the first one in Bramer County. Let's pick up the conversation.
And this is Jeremy Ebaugh, and he and his wife Sarah and three boys run the operation here. Dairy farmers. Yep. Tell me a little bit about your dairy operation. How many cows you milking?
Yeah, we're milking about 250 Holsteins here, and we got a Swing 16 parlor. We sell our milk to Wapsie Valley Creameries in Independence. Been dairying all my life. Been married to Sarah for 27 years now, and she's been helping me the whole time. And
what time of day do you do your first milking?
We start at 4 a.m. in the morning.
4 a.m.,
Yep.
Okay.
Getting ready to milk, and then we usually started milking about 4:30. So we're just twice a day, so then about the afternoon we'll start about 3:30. That way we can get done a little earlier for different events for the kids and whatever else.
Still got to go to ball games, things like that. They tell me you got a couple of young fellows who are fairly well in with wrestling prowess.
Yes. All three boys have wrestled. My youngest is currently a sophomore in high school, and he's playing.
And where's school at?
Denver High School, Denver, Iowa. Yeah, the older two both were 2- and 3-time state placers, and then they went to Upper Iowa University up in Fayette to wrestle, and they both studied ag business up there. One's got 1 year left, and one already graduated from up there.
They're coming back. I'm going to talk to Sarah here. They're coming back to the farm. When I showed up at the farm today, Sarah was out there on the business end of a fire hose doing a little work. It's kind of nonstop operation, and especially in the dairy business.
Oh, it's nonstop, but wouldn't trade any minute for it. So
now, did it rain last night?
It drizzled enough to make it kind of yucky.
Yeah. Out
here. So yes.
Well, we would welcome some yucky drizzle in south central Iowa. We're on the dusty side. I picked up 0.3 of an inch of rain, I think, in the rain gauge, and celebrated that.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, we haven't had rain for a while. Now, I was asking before we started here, you're fourth generation, is that right?
Yes.
Fourth generation farmers here. And you have a fifth generation in place that's raring to go.
We hope so. That's always a plus.
Now, if they're listening to the radio right now, they're not hearing something new, are they?
No.
Okay.
No. But we got the three boys, and hopefully one of them, they might have to come back and have bring something back with the farm with them.
So how many employees do you have? Because it looks like you have some part-time help here as well.
Yes, we have about 8 employees, part-time high school, college-age kids that come back, and about every month I have another kid asking, hey, can I have a job?
Well, good deal, because we love to have young people involved in agriculture. And that's one of the things I know Secretary of Agriculture Mike Naig is going to be here with us as well today. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that he talks strong about is keeping young people engaged in agriculture. Now, you're in the dairy business. Did you grow up in dairy business?
No.
So how did you get involved with
I was a neighbor girl. My parents lived right across the highway, and they used to bale hay. And so they used to get Jeremy to help bale hay, and they didn't realize what kind of inventory he was actually taking at the time. And I don't know if they'd ask him to bale again, but
oh, that's a wonderful story.
Yeah,
I like that. And here's the deal. Jeremy might have been thinking, why didn't you get me over on that side of the fence, and we'd have a lot more sleep time.
around.
That's about right.
Because, the dairy business, I'll tell you, you get some kids coming through dairy, they know how to work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that you got some young folks that's ready to come into the farming operation as well. You stick around. We're going to talk to you again. We're with the Ebaugh family here. And Braemar County, our Oregon Good Farm Neighbor Award winners, number 201, Jeremy and Sara Ebaugh. Reminder, you're listening to the Fenceline. Fenceline is a presentation of the Coalition to Support Iowa's Farmers. You can find out more about programs being offered through the Coalition at their website, supportfarmers.com. Well, as is tradition at the Oregon Good Farm Neighbor Awards, Secretary of Agriculture Mike Naig makes a presentation. We had a chance to visit with the Secretary, along with the Ebaugh family, before the presentation.
Secretary of Agriculture Mike Naig is joining us. How are you doing?
Hi. Oh, I'm great.
You rested up since your trip
I don't
back?
know about that. I'm still fighting off a little jet lag, but it's great to be home. What a great trip to India. Governor Reynolds and I and a team. We learned a lot again. An interesting time to be there, Bob. As you know, there's been some, I'm just going to diplomatically call it friction between the U.S. and India, but it actually seemed like it softened. It improved as we went through the week, and by the end, the mantra really was, well, it's just a function of when are we going to have an agreement, not if. Two countries like the United States and India can't be fighting with each other. Huge opportunity for us to participate in that economy as they continue to grow.
Well, and not to get too far off away from our discussion today, but China is still the elephant in the room.
It still is, and I get it. I think we all wanted that latest round of negotiations in Spain to include soybean. I think they talked a lot about TikTok, which needed to be cleared. I understand that, but clearly China needs to get to the table. Look, it's better for all involved if they can't totally rely on South America for soybean production. They need to be buying from the United States, and I think they'll come to see that. But clearly that's an issue. India, though, back to that is, you talk about how do you kind of replace China in the landscape. Hard to do. We need China at the table. But India does represent an opportunity for DDGs, for soybean meal, for ethanol. Hey, any economy that expands their middle class and grows their income it's always been true. They will look for more protein in their diets, and we can help either feed their livestock industry and or sell them protein direct.
I'll talk with Jeremy right now. Secretary Naig, we're going to get a dose of reality. Step back in the real world here, and we got a lot of things going on here in Northern Iowa. Jeremy and Sara Ebaugh here, our Oregon Good Farm Neighbor Award winners. Jeremy, what have you been doing crop-wise? You been out in the field yet?
Yeah, of course, we've just here in the last couple of weeks, we worked on corn silage, got that done, and then we went into fourth cutting hay. And now here in the last couple of days, we did some high-moisture earlage.
Now, what do you do? How do you handle the earlage? Because that has popped up in northern Iowa in a couple different places this year.
Yeah, so it's a high moisture feed that we feed to the dairy cattle.
And where do you store it?
We actually store it in a pile on the ground. It's on a lime packed pad that we cover with plastic and tires. And basically, it's use your silage chopping unit, and you put an adapter plate on to run your combine corn head on the front, and so you basically just chop up all your ears and husks to make a high-energy feed.
Then how do you feed that back?
We feed ours through TMR total mixed ration to the dairy cows. We'll have our rations, of course, balanced with our nutritionist, and he'll tell us what we need in there.
Looks like you're feeding out some steers here, too.
Yeah, we also we run a few stock cows and feed those Angus steers and heifers out.
Not that you weren't busy enough with the dairy side of things as well.
Yeah, you bet. I guess I like to stay busy.
Sara, pick up that microphone over here. I'm going to talk to you, too.
Sara said understatement.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Add that in here.
Yeah, so let me ask you, how's a typical day go for you? You get up early.
Yep, get up at 4, start milking at 4:30. Usually lasts until about 7:30, 8 o'clock, depends on how the cows react and how they act towards us. Clean up the barn at that time, then make sure the pens all have feed and help him mix feed, whatever needs to be done. Scrape pens and feed stock cows, feed calves. He's usually feeding calves while I'm milking with one of my buddies.
So this is all done by about 9 in the morning.
Yes.
Then your day starts.
Yes.
Because you got, you're involved in schools and you're involved in other operations as well, organizations. and then you get to come back in a little bit later on the day and start again.
Right, and that's hoping that it's not field work time either. So I run chopper as much as I can, and whatever he tells me to do, basically. And
we're going to have to write that down. Jeremy, we're going to write that one down right here on the wall.
Little, Coalition of Support Iowa Farmers now getting into marriage counseling as well, maybe possibly. But
let me ask you this, Secretary. I want to find their kids and hire them if they've been around that kind of work.
Well, and this just drives home that reality, right? There's always something going on, and then you add on top of that. By the way, did you hear we did silage, we did fourth cutting, and we started high moisture corn all in the last week or two.
Yeah.
So that's a fair amount of work. But it's a busy time, and it's a reminder of that. By the way, then they'll need to be manure hauled and pens cleaned and all that happens after the crop is in. So it is an incredibly busy time, as we all know here, especially on a livestock farm.
We'll brag up the dairy industry a little bit.
Oh, we're so proud of the dairy industry. And you know, talk about this is any way that you want to talk about sustainability, efficiency, and innovation, you can talk about the dairy industry, whether it's the genetics or the nutrition. We talked about that, and just operationally. But again, what I like to always look at, I go back to that study that stuck in my head years ago, and that's that every dairy cow represents at least $25,000 worth of economic activity. And we know that. Livestock dollars bang around the economy, especially in the local level. So we're proud of it.
Don't mention that $25,000 because the radio station's been trying to buy some cows ever since you started that. So, hey, we're having some fun today. Working Good Farm Neighbor Award winner number 201.
The Ebaugh family in Bramer County. And a reminder that you're listening to the Fenceline. It is a presentation of the Coalition to Support Iowa's Farmers. If you have questions about livestock, these are the folks that have the answers. And one of the folks that might be coming out to your farm if you call in is Cody Havens with the Coalition. And we're going to visit with Cody coming up here in just a little bit.
And we are speaking farm on the big show today with the 201st edition of the Working Good Farm Neighbor Award. You know, for those of you folks who don't know what that award's all about, it is named after a farm broadcaster that worked at WHO Radio, a good friend of agriculture, a good friend of mine as well, Gary Wergen. And many years ago, Gary started what was called the Helping Hand broadcast. And it was similar. People would nominate their helping hand that came out and did some good deeds with them and as a neighbor. And then Gary would go out and broadcast from that farm on the day of the event. So the Helping Hand program kind of went along on a monthly basis. Well, then Gary fell ill and passed away very prematurely. And we decided at the radio station to continue the Working Good Farm Neighbor Award and name it then the Working Good Farm Neighbor Award after Gary Wergen. So that's a little bit of history on the award. It is given to folks who are nominated by their neighbor for being a good farm neighbor. And what does that mean? Well, it means something different to everybody, but basically it's someone who's there to lend a hand when you need it, to give you a hand up, and when you need that as well. And so it's certainly most likely the guy or gal who lives across the road from you would qualify as a Good Farm Neighbor Award. And we'd like to know who that might be in your neck of the woods so we can come out in the next year or two and honor them as well. You can place your nomination through the Coalition to Support Iowa's Farmers, their website, supportfarmers.com. We'd love to hear from you. And one of the guys that we talked to from the Coalition is Cody Havens. Cody's with us today. And if you have someone come out and do a farm call, a farm visit, most likely it's going to be Cody. So you get around the entire state.
Yeah, cover the entire state, go out and visit with farmers and producers across the state, completely free, at their convenience. Go out there and meet with them. It takes about an hour and a half, depending on how many questions they have, and help them with the rules and regulations.
Who should be contacting the coalition?
Anyone that's wanting to expand their operation, or maybe bring livestock back to an operation that hasn't had it for a couple generations, or even bring livestock back for the first time. Anybody that wants to feed livestock on their farm, come out and visit with you, kind of go over the details and explain what rules and regulations apply for every feeding operation and your size of feeding operation.
Now, rumor has it that the DNR is in the state. In fact, I think at a federal level, EPA might be doing some inspections in the state of Iowa right now. And you guys are a good call to make
and have you come out and maybe do kind of a mock inspection on some of these farms, get these folks ready for that.
Yeah, absolutely. EPA comes a couple times a year, and yeah, they're in the state right now, looking at different things as far as the animal feeding operation goes, even silage pits. And I do that quite a few times throughout the year. Go out and do open feedlot inspections and just kind of look over and make sure that everything looks good, and just kind of tell you anything I see before DNR comes out or EPA comes out. Or if you get a heads up that they are coming, call us. We'll come out beforehand and help you out and point you in the right direction.
Now, we're at a dairy operation today. Also a feed, there's a feed operation here, feeding out some cattle. But you work with all species of livestock.
All species of livestock, anything from dairy, beef, pork, poultry, chicken, turkey. You name it, we'll help you out.
SupportFarmers.com is where you find Cody and Megan and Brian, and they'll get you lined up with all your questions you might have on livestock operations here. Coalition to Support Iowa's Farmers. And again, you can find them at SupportFarmers.com. Now let's get back to our Working Good Farm Neighbor Award-winning family, number 201. We're celebrating with Jeremy and Sara Ebaugh here. Come on over here, Jeremy. Congratulations, number one, on being winner number 201.
Well, thank you.
You bet. Working Good Farm Neighbor Award. Looks like you got a bunch of your friends out here joining us today as well.
You bet, yep.
Let me ask you this. Give me about 30 seconds on your operation here.
So we're here in Jefferson Township, Bremer County, Iowa, but we milk about 250 Holsteins, my wife and I, and our 3 boys, and then we got some high school, college kids that like to help us too. And we farm about 650 acres of corn, soybeans, hay, and oats. We do a little cover cropping with some rye and triticale, and a little bit of no-tilling with some beans and corn too.
I want to ask Sara as well, because you're 4th generation, is that right? 4th generation farmers
Yes.
here? Yeah, and 5th is running around here today.
Yes.
Now, wasn't any big surprise when they heard in the radio that they're the 5th generation to come into this farming operation, right?
No, wasn't any surprise. They've always showed interest. It's just a matter of if they want to do the dairy or not. We're hoping that they do. If they
is that a choice that can be?
It's a choice.
Can be given.
It's a choice. Yeah.
Jeremy's looking at you saying, "No, it's not."
It's always a choice. We want them to be happy. They have got to love what they want to do. So.
Well, thank you for hosting us today.
Thank you for coming.
You bet. One of the guys that brought along a tree with him, and he's going to do some planting here. I'm guessing Alex with us and with Fraser Nursery. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for
by the
having
way,
us.
the tree that I have, the bur oak,
You bet.
it's taken on water.
That's great.
It was hot when we put it in. But
Oh,
what'd
man.
you bring today?
Well, again, bur oak tree. We like to present the award winners with the bur oak tree because we think it's going to be neat that after all these awards, after all these years, that there's going to be a scattering of bur oak trees across Iowa.
They're certainly beautiful trees, and hopefully they're hardy.
Well, sure. Well, they've proven themselves. But
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
this has been a tough row to hoe for them.
Well, Fraser Nursery with us as well at our Working Good Farm Neighbor Award presentations. Brian Waddingham. Brian, with the Coalition to Support Iowa's Farmers, how can we find out programs available to livestock producers here in the state?
The best way is to jump online and visit supportfarmers.com, or you could always call us direct at 800-932-2436.
SupportFarmers.com, and you get some calls.
Yeah, we are getting calls, mainly cattle, a few poultry calls, sprinkle a few dairy in there as well as guys look to diversify a little bit. But a lot of interest, too, in bringing sons and daughters, grandsons, granddaughters back right now. So we're busy.
Brian, thank you again for hosting us and for being our sponsor. Secretary of Agriculture Mike Naig with us. Brian with the Coalition to Support Iowa's Farmers said they're getting some calls right now. Cattle industry.
Yeah.
And no surprise, I guess, when you look at the cattle market right now. So probably some opportunity there.
Cattle market's telling you we need more beef, right? And consumers are still paying what the price is at the case, and we're thankful for that. But we need some growth. We need a growth signal there. The growth signal is being sent. We need some more cows and some more cattle. It's a good thing.
Talk about the dairy industry here in the state.
Yeah, great industry, and again, it's one of those things that we do so well here from an efficiency standpoint. Drives value to our communities, and I've said it before. Any way that you want to measure the dairy industry, and certainly it holds true in Iowa, is that they're doing great things when it comes to sustainability and care for the animals. We're also really excited about some expansion. Daisy dairy expansion in the Boone area. I mean, that's sending a signal as well. And one, it tells you that Iowa is a place where people want to come and do business, and we love that. So we had to compete for that plant. And what it also will mean is there's going to be more dairy cattle in the state of Iowa, and we love that.
Rumor has it that there are some dairies interested in the state of Iowa.
Without a doubt. We hear frequently from folks out west, and that has to do with the regulatory environment and the tax environment in some places like California. It also has to do with, unfortunately, drought that's been affecting producers in the west. And they continue to look, maybe we'll call it the I-29 corridor in South Dakota and Nebraska, but we're holding our own. And we love that we're a place where livestock production can happen here, happen responsibly. And again, I'm proud of that story, especially in dairy, that can be told about how sustainable they are.
We're also proud of the Good Farm Neighbor Award story, and we'd like to have you here making this presentation. But when we get to come out and recognize farm families for doing what they do here in the state of Iowa.
Oh, and I appreciate Jeremy and Sarah saying, I think they said so well just this last segment here of what about the boys? What about their sons? And what's it look like to bring a son or a daughter back into an operation? Have to work off the farm, have to bring something to the farm. And Sarah, I think, said it so well, which is they got to love it and will have a passion for it too. But there are opportunities, and oftentimes it's because of livestock that the next generation can find their way into an operation. So I think that's a nice added part of the story today. Doing things right from the cattle standpoint, doing things right with no-till and cover crops, and there's a pathway for a couple of kids to come into this operation.
Got about a minute left. I want to have you kind of summarize what you've been doing the last week or so.
Yeah, well, coming off of a trip to India, again, a good example, just another example of how Iowa is good at, we have got a long history of going and selling and visiting markets and making market opportunity. I will be leading another trade delegation to Vietnam and Indonesia later this fall. I hope harvest is done by the time that I'm wheels up to
so does everyone around your farming operation.
But that's something we need to be doing, playing offense on trade. No doubt about it. We've got lots of opportunities and lots of need. Prices aren't where we need them to be. Profitability is not where we need them to be. We've got to fight for markets. Local, domestic, international, you name it.
Talk about commerce. Look, we're just pulled up right outside the
milk truck's here.
Yeah, milk truck is here, ready to take some milk.
And hopefully somebody get that man a sandwich before he leaves. We'll get him some. Are there potatoes? I haven't even looked yet.
Oh.
Okay, there are cheesy potatoes.
Well, I guess it is. We do have to go over.
The dairy industry runs on cheesy potatoes today, Bob.
You bet. Secretary of Agriculture Mike Naig,
thanks.
Thank you. You bet. Thanks for being with us today. Secretary of Agriculture Mike Naig here doing a presentation with the Oregon Good Farm Neighbor Award. Summary of what we've been doing, Jeremy and Sara Ebaugh are 201st winners in the Oregon Good Farm Neighbor Award. Celebrating with our Oregon Good Farm Neighbor Award winning family. Speaking of which, we'd like to hear about some more Oregon Good Farm Neighbor Award winning families out there, and you can nominate someone at the website of the Coalition to Support Iowa's Farmers. That is supportfarmers.com. The Fenceline today, a presentation of the Coalition to Support Iowa's Farmers. Again, you can find out a lot of information, a lot of background from the website supportfarmers.com. My name is Bob Quinn. I'll be talking to you again next time along the Fenceline.